Hi. I haven't been on for a while. Made a couple projects, some hutches and a bedroom set. And this is I got a new SawStop, and I made this Outfeed table. It's kind of a torsion box style, which works really well. And the reason this T-track is here is I put that there because when I'm using my sled, I can put a stop in here, and that way I don't have to worry about the blade coming out the other end and that sort of thing. Get in a hurry and you forget. So it's more safety. But this one I had in, and I had 3 bolts holding it down. The problem is when I wanted to get back here to clean, I can't store anything here because what I had to do is use one of these gizmos underneath, which the legs, they spread wide open like that, and that kind of makes it a pain in the butt. And I can't get to these cupboards that are over here, and my golf stuff is back behind here, but I need to put my saw in this position. So I tried to invent something that would be better. So what I've actually done is, instead of using this anymore, I have this new system, and these are from Rockler. They hold, I think, 150 pounds a piece or something, and you don't need that much. You usually don't have a lot of weight on your Outfeed table unless you're using it for a table, and I don't. So I had to use some unistrut to extend it out from the back of the saw, and I put some wood here to make up the difference in space. And so what I do now is I can lift these up, and then I pull this over the top, and it's done. It's that easy to get off. I use this real soft board because I figure after a while it'll soak up a little of the oil that I put on the saw, because I'm from Oregon and it's pretty high humidity. But the neat thing about it is if I have this on, it'll fold right over the top of this. Or if I have this off and I want it out of the way, it really doesn't matter. It just folds up and out of the way. In a minute, I'll take some close-ups of the sides and things. I don't have plans for this, and I went through so many steps to make this. It took so long that I'm not sure I would start it again, because I had to do some trial and error and things like that. This is 2 foot deep, and it's 3/4 plywood with just an 1/8 inch coat of this white stuff on top, because I used to wax that. But I thought, well, this will slide real easy. The nice part is too is even if this loosens up in here, that the angle is that way, and I don't know if you can see it, but you actually have to have 2 angles. Otherwise, it won't roll around. It'll catch. So I just cut a 45, and then I cut a 45. I flipped it over and cut it again, and the hinges are just made out of a couple pieces of maple, but the cut is back that way, so even if it loosens up a little bit, you're still going to be able to get right over the top of it, and it's just below this part. So anyway, I'll shut it off here in a second, and hopefully you can see the space I've got behind this, but I'll kind of show it too. So I'll flip this up and out of the way so you can kind of see how it sets. And okay, I'll kind of show you. Originally, this was my first test, and I actually thought that I would have to have something on to hold it tight, so I put a couple clasps on. But what you can see is, if you look at how this is set in there, it would sit flatter, or doggone it, flatter up, and this part here holds it. Then what I did is I made a longer one that I actually put on the saw, and I used the hinges that I made off of this one, but you can see that one's quite a bit longer, and it seemed to be okay, but I was afraid weight-wise, it was not going to work without supports. So here it is again, and of course now I've opened up all this space back underneath, so I'll put, you know, you always run out of space, so there's all kinds of things I need to put back here. But I also can get at my cupboards real easy, and, you know, my golf stuff, which you can't see the golf bags because they're behind the little carts. But anyway, so that is how that is. Now, here again, I'll see if I can show you underneath. This is kind of how it lays out. And there those are, and I have some unistrut there. And so it's kind of a simple design, but this took way longer than what I wanted it to take. But anyway, you just flip it over like that, and you know, I'm right now pushing as hard as I can, and nothing's moving. So I probably could have got away with one of those, but it would have had to be more in the middle, and then you've got to contend with, you know, down there's a door to get at some parts on the SawStop, and you've got the hose for dust collection. So other things I've done with this SawStop is I made these tops. I use this one because you want to have something when you're changing blades and so on to lay on your table. Keeps your table from getting too scratched up. It also, you know, carbide teeth. You drop them on the steel table. If you drop your blade just a little ways, you can break a tooth off. They're very brittle. And then I made this little cabinet to go underneath, and it just slides out and kind of goes in that manner. So anyway, that's all the saw stuff, and it sits down there. So anyway, that is my SawStop. Thanks. You know, also I wanted to mention on this that when I flip it up on top, it's much easier to roll it around to a different spot if I've got to do that. The handles come down, so basically this is only, if you look, it's only sticking out this far, which is about 3 inches. When you look at the bottom, we're talking about 1.5 inches farther than the saw normally sticks out. So I push down the pedal and I flip that thing over the top, push down the pedal and move it around as if there was not a table back there, but it's always with it. So I move it somewhere else, I flip it over, and boom, there it is. So